Hey everyone, happy Friday. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be drawing an apple, this cute little apple in Inkscape. So we're going to be making SVG like we always do. So if you are ready, we're going to start drawing right away. If this is the first time you're joining me, hello, I'm Nadua. I am a digital illustrator. I run Paperflow Designs, which is a website and blog where I have articles to teach you all about making digital illustrations, how to transform them into SVGs, and how to use them in Cricut and Silhouette and other cutting machines. So if you're interested in that, stick around. All right, let me jump right in. Hopefully everyone can hear me and see me. Start showing you what we're going to draw today. So I came up with this idea because I thought, okay, what kind of gifts can you give out to like helpers, people that help you out, like the babysitter, the teacher, or kids teachers. Please, if you have children, if you're like me during the lockdown, thank you, teachers everywhere. Um, the delivery people, the Amazon delivery guy, whatever you're ordering for the holidays, these things would be something that you could, that's the little gifts that you're going to give them. I will give you some ideas of how you can use them at the end of this as well. All right, so let's jump in here. And we are using Inkscape as usual, which is an open source graphic software editor. And I'm just going to be using basic shapes like always. So we're going to start off using a circle. There we go. The color's just coming out green because the last thing I drew was green, but it's not going to stay green. We're going to change that up. So I'm just using the circle and ellipsis tool so far to just draw out like a medium-sized circle. And I'm going to use a shortcut, Control-Shift-C to change that into a path. So even when I use the shape tools, like the circles, the rectangle, or the stars, I like to keep everything as a path. So you'll see the nodes and things changing because I changed them all to paths. So this is now a path, and I'm just going to add a few nodes to the corners because I'm going to turn this circle into our apple shape. So you can see I just added 2 more nodes to the top, and then I just pull down the middle there. As you're coming in, say hi. Let me know where you're watching me from, what plans you have for the weekend. Tomorrow, my son has a basketball game, so he's excited about that. It's his first year playing basketball. So he's already played 1 game, and this is going to be his 2nd game of the year. So we're just going to go cheer him on. All right, and what I'm doing now is just changing those 2 top nodes into round nodes. So you can see like the rest of them, the other 4 ones, they're squares. So these 2 top ones, I'm just clicking on the nodes button at the top and changing that to round nodes, just to curve the edges a little bit. It's just like a little shortcut way to get like rounder nodes. All right, so this is like the beginning of our apple shape, starting to kind of take form. All right, and to get the nodes, you can just double click on the design that you have selected, or you can click on N, and that will give you nodes. If you know me, I love using shortcuts. So I'm just adding more nodes here. So the same thing I did at the top, I'm just going to add 2 more nodes at the bottom here, and then pull those 2 sides down to make that the bottom of the apple shape. Pull that down a little bit. If I double click on that, it's just going to give me those curved arrows. add another node here. To add another node, I just double click where I want to put the node. And the same thing, if I don't need the node anymore, I can just click on it and then just delete it. So here is the beginning of our apple shape, kind of looking a little bit like a tooth. And then I can just click on the red color from the menu bar down below to change it to red. I was thinking, since it's the end of the year, school's not out yet for my kids. Maybe wherever you are, if you have kids, it might be different. But I do know it's at the end of the year. Everyone's like giving gifts to teachers, especially after this crazy year we've had. All right, so now we're making the stem just using the rectangle tool, which you can see on the left side menu is highlighted. So just use that. My default color is blue. Yours might be something else, but that's okay because we're going to change that color. And double click to get the nodes and then just slightly pull that up in the middle. And do the same thing at the bottom. And then I can pull out the side because I want the stem to be kind of curved. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Just pull that in. And then at the bottom, I'm going to pull in that right node at the bottom just to make it smaller at the bottom and bigger on the top, just like, stems usually are. If you've already given out your teacher gifts or already know what you're giving out, let me know because I'm looking for ideas, I have some ideas. Like I said, I want to share some ideas with you at the end of this. But I'm always open to some suggestions too, especially since I don't know if they're giving a group gift yet or it's going to be all individual. I mean, we still have like another week before school vacation starts. And usually like I just get like a text message or something, or one of the parents like sees me during pickup and says like, oh, we're doing like a group gift for so and so for the teacher, do you want in? And I just say yeah, and just like give my money. But sometimes they don't do that, and then you just have to like get your own individual gift. And I don't like going like the gift card route. I mean, it's fine, which is funny because I like getting gift cards, but I don't know if other people like getting gift cards or they just see it as she didn't really know what to get me, so she just gave me a gift card. Which is, I mean, it's true. I don't really know the teacher. It's not like we're BFFs. All right, so here I've just duplicated the stem because I'm going to make a cutout from it to have like a shadow effect. I still want to keep this, really simple, basic designs that any beginner can do. So here you can see I'll just pull away the second one. I just duplicated that just using the shortcut for duplicate, which is Control D. And I'll put that back. Change it to brown first. Make this other one a darker brown. So it's kind of looking like two quotation marks, but we're going to make that into one stem for the apple. So I'll put that slightly, or overlap use the lighter one to overlap the darker one. And then I'm going to duplicate the darker one again because I'm going to use that to make the cutout. So just select the darker one and then just duplicate it. Now I'm going to select the light brown one. So I'm only going to have two pieces selected. And I think you should be able to see that at the bottom of the menu, just underneath the color bar. Yeah, it's going to say like 2 objects selected, 2 paths selected. And now I've just cut that out. You can't see it right away, but you're going to see it in a second. Grab my tea. Well, it's not warm anymore, but it's not cold. All right, so I've deleted the cutout portion that I don't need anymore. Change the colors a little bit. I want it just to kind of look a little bit like a shadow effect, almost like a 3D-ish. So since, Inkscape is SVGs and it's not like a program like Procreate, we're not actually like, coloring in the shapes, but I'm using different shapes to give like depth. So if I use two colors that are close together, one lighter, one darker, I can kind of give it a little bit of a depth in there. So it looks like you can see like the back side and the front side of that stem. And then we're just going to put it right on the top middle of the apple there. It's kind of big like that, so let's shrink it down a little bit. All right, and to make the leaves, I'm going to use the pencil tool. Sometimes I use the pencil tool, sometimes I use the Bezier Pen Tool. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, just take a look on the left side of the vertical menu, and you can see which tool is highlighted. All right, I'm gonna go back to the Bezier pen. Another thing is like Inkscape. I recently switched to the update. I forget what number they're up to now. What is it, like maybe 2.1 or something like that. But for the longest, I was using the last version. So I'm still kind of used to the icons and things in the last version. But, change is good. But it's just going to take me some time to get used to them. The good thing is all the shortcuts pretty much stay the same. I mean, the icons are not that much different from what they were before. And the shortcuts that I like using are still the same functions, even though the drawings on the icons changed a little bit. All right, I'm going to go back to the pencil. I don't know if I want to use the pencil tool or the Bezier pen tool. Let's try this. So right now we're making the leaves that are going to go on the apple. And I mean, I went ahead and I did one already, like yesterday, but nevertheless, I still changed my mind, mid presentation. All right, so you can see the different modes that you have for, what is it, the Bezier pen tool. And it's looking like it. That is the mode that I want to use that has the different nodes on it. Dun, 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 mulling this over. Okay, let's try this one. This is going to be for the shadow. I said the leaves, but I wanted to say the shadow. That's on the inside of the apple. But when we are doing the leaves, I'm still going to be using either the pen tool or the pencil tool, depending how this one goes. All right, this is giving me this little stroke effect, which I don't really want, but we're going to work with it. Because you know what? Sometimes you get surprises. That's okay. There's one monkey, don't stop the show. We're just going to keep going. Like I said, even though I just practiced this just yesterday, it's still doing other things. But that's okay. That's okay. Oh, and don't worry, this brown color is just because this is the last color that we used to make the stem. I'm going to change that color too, because I'm not trying to have it look like a chocolate covered apple. It's just supposed to be that kind of shadowy effect that you get from the inside of where you see the stem sitting. All right, so I'm bringing the stem. Let's see, what do I want here? It's still giving me this little effect. All right, we'll work with it. Let's see what happens here. I'm trying to shrink that down a little bit. And it's just a, just an organic shape. You'll see it might look kind of weird right now, like, okay, what is this going on here? But I think you already saw on the cover, so you just kind of have an idea of where I'm going with this. All right, double click to get the nodes, and then I can just move the nodes around. It's not bad because I still wanted to have that kind of like hand-drawn feeling to it, which I think I'm getting here. If you have any questions along the way, even if you're watching this like on the replay, feel free to drop your question into the comments as well, because I do come back around even later to see if there's any questions or if there's any comments. On last week's that we did, I saw there was a question. There was a comment. It was about a shortcut, and I went and answered that. And I think someone else, I think Felicia had a question, or no, something she said about snowflakes. And at first I thought, okay, maybe it's because I asked like what other kind of drawings and you know subjects or topics you guys wanted to see, and she wrote snowflakes. But now that I think about it, I think she was actually answering my question, which was what ornament that we already drew in the past series. So I like to do these like 3-part series. So I'll take one kind of like main topic, and then we'll cover like 3 different ways that you can do that. So this apple, we're doing the base here, but you are going to see it again, but you're going to see it again in a different way. So yeah, I think she was answering the question, which, because I was like drawing a blank, trying to think of, okay, we did 3 ornaments, but I could remember the mandala one, and I, for some reason, just could not remember the snowflake one. So that must be what she was answering. If that's the case, Alicia, if you're watching this one, or if you see it later, let me know if that's what you were talking about. Or if it's something completely different too, that's fine. All right, this shadow is like, it's getting the best of me, but that's okay. I'm gonna play around with it a little bit more. Like I always say about doing like digital drawing is like, if I had like painted this on here already and I didn't like it, I kind of have to be starting all over again. Maybe not all over again, but I have to like, paint over it again instead of just like deleting the part that I don't like. And I'm still having this kind of weirdish stroke on here. But this is good because I like when I'm doing like this, drawings with you guys, and I'm making mistakes along the way, because then that way you can see, okay, if you make a mistake, how can you correct it? Or not necessarily a mistake, but something that you don't want. How can you correct it? All right, so I'm okay with the way that looks, and I'm just going to cut that shape out, that shadowy shape out of the apple. I'll change it to a different color, the duplicate. So usually anytime I do like a cutout or something like that, I'm gonna always duplicate it. And then I'm going to select the 2 items here, and then we are going to cut that out using that shortcut. That is looking like I have my red underneath, and that is not exactly how I wanted it, but that is okay. I'm just going to show you. So that is what we got, but that's not really what I want. What I want is to have only the shadow left and not have a cutout from the duplicated version of the apple. So I will just undo that. Let's stick that back. Anytime you want to undo something in Inkscape, you can just hit Control Z and you can go right back to where you were. So if let's say it's like you want to go 3 steps back, you just hit Control Z 3 times. All right, let's try this again. And this time I'm going to use, haha, that is what I wanted. It's better to divide that. So just use the path function to divide the two paths. So now I can take away the bottom part of the apple, which I've cut out and I don't need. So you can see the red one, which was underneath it, and then I can change the shadowy part that I want to this deep red color. So it kind of looks like the little, hills and valleys of the inside of the top of the apple. Yes, that is my technical term for it. All right, so now we've got the apple done, we've got the shadow for the apple, we've got the stem done, and now we're ready to make the leaves. So we'll go back to the Bezier pen. So you don't see me going like back and forth over to the control menu because I'm always using the shortcuts in Inkscape. I mean, you can just, use the menu tools too. But I just find it quicker when I use the shortcuts. So like I said, you will be seeing this apple again if you are on my email list. You already got the email to be here ahead of time. So you know before everyone else what we're going to be drawing, when it's going to be happening. So you pretty much know it happens every Friday at the same time, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. All right, this Bezier pen is giving me different things going on. So I'm just going to open up the fill and stroke menu, just using this shortcut to get that, which is Control Shift F, and see what's going on here with my colors. I think it's because I'm using the graphic tablet and the pen, which sometimes I don't always hook it up. Sometimes I just use the mouse. So things might have like reset since the last time that I've used it. But we'll figure this one out. So we're drawing a leaf and it's giving me this two-tone, a fill that's one color, a stroke that's a different color. Not really sure why, but I'm going to figure that out live and direct with you. All right, now we've got everything green. Right, we got the first leaf here. I still got this fill and stroke menu out. As you can see, I was having a little issue with having these like two-tone colors on my leaf. I was able to go to the fill and stroke menu and change that. All right, we're going to shape the leaf a little bit using the nodes, just like we did with the apple. So like with the apple, I started off with the circle tool. But with the leaf, I just felt like drawing it like organically. So I used the Bezier Pen Tool. Ultimately, I could have done the leaf with using the circle tool as well. I kind of want to show you, that you have different options and you can use different tools to get the same result. All right. Not really feeling that leaf, so let's do it again. I'm going to try out a different option, still using the Bezier pen. All right, this is giving me like a complete circular thing, which is not exactly what I wanted. But now you can see what you get using the second option, the second mode in the Bezier Pen Tool. So even though for me it's been like, oh man, I think over 3 years that I've been using Inkscape, and I'm still finding out like different things about it. Because like, like when you always using like you're using something like the same way all the time, um, you just kind of like get used to it. And then you want to try something new. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll try using a different mode on the Bezier pen tool, and it's giving me this big old circle that I don't really want, but I'm learning new different things about Inkscape all the time. Like every time I plug it in and fire it up, I'm like, okay, I'll try this out. And even though, like I said, like yesterday, I just made the same one because I wanted to practice it out, but I didn't use this tool. I didn't use I didn't use the tablet, the graphic tablet. I just used the mouse. And I'm like, oh, it's been a while that I haven't pulled out the graphic tablet. I'm gonna do that. And it's like, oh, okay, you want to be fancy? Okay, you're gonna learn today. All right. So that little the second mode with the little circle, not really what I wanted. So let's try again. All right, still back here with the Bezier tool. If I go down and change the scale to 0, what's that gonna give me? Okay, it's looking okay. It's looking like what I'm used to. So I'm gonna change that scale to 0. Then I don't get that like two-tone different color stroke around it. I think that's what the issue was. So I obviously need to go back and like recalibrate my tablet. So I think I haven't used the tablet since I upgraded Inkscape. Since I was so used to using it in the other version, I forgot that, yeah, when you upgrade, things can change. All right, so we're making the leaf using the Bezier tool. I just double click to get the nodes. And then I'm just going to play around with the nodes and move those into position to make a leaf shape. pull that top one up a little bit. Right, now that's looking like something I want. So this is gonna be our first leaf. And then we're gonna draw like the, what do they call the veins on the inside of the leaf? Also using the Bezier Pen Tool. I think they're called veins. You know, those little lines that are on the inside of the leaf. Zoom in a little bit so you can see it closer. So still using the Bezier Pen Tool. I'm just going to draw a straight line up and down, well, sort of a line up and down, and then make like a little corner, and then to go back up to the top to make that like vertical vein in there. If you hear any snoring, that is the cat snoring behind me. I promise you it's not me. That is like his everyday job. All right, change the scale a little bit on there. All right, so that's the first little vein, and then still using the Bezier Pen Tool to make the side ones. So just click on, since I'm using the pen, click, draw a little like line kind of shape, and then come back to the point where I started to close off that shape. And I want it to look a little, you know, organic. I don't want it to be like completely symmetrical. So it's fine that they don't look alike. All right, they are all completely different. That's okay. I can double click just to get the nodes and pull that down a little bit. Let's see here. Right here, I'm just pulling around and playing around a little bit with the nodes on the bottom. And when you're making yours, it's completely up to you. If maybe you are happy with how it looks like the first go around, then you don't need to do so much like, you know, modifying and changing up the nodes. So I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. Make that a little bit thinner. I'll grab a little bit more tea, even though it is like getting cold. All right, I'm going to round out. The bottom of that one is rounded out, so I kind of like the way that looks on there. And now I've duplicated that first one, and it is giving me this different kind of, just looks like the outline. Wasn't expecting that, but I like the way that looks too. I like the way that looks. And this one I think I'm gonna delete, because I don't, yeah, just get rid of that one. And then I'm going to select this like longer one and duplicate that too. Double click to get the rotation handles, the little rotation arrows, and then just move that a little bit, rotate a little bit to the left. I don't want to turn in my head as if like that's going to help help turn it. Right, I'll duplicate that. I can see if I move it, it looks like it's coming out. I kind of like the way this one looks too. I feel like I keep overusing the word organic, but that is, I don't know, I need some synonyms. That is how I feel like it looks with this. Like one side that's full and the other side it's just the outline. Yeah, I like when like, you know, unexpected things happen. So it's like I can practice and like do my drawing and get ready and make a pre-drawing and like, yes, it's gonna go perfectly. There's gonna be no hiccups. That does not always happen. No, sometimes there are little, not accidents, but little surprises. But then I end up liking the surprises. But then even if I don't like the surprises, I can just delete it, right? Right, so duplicate that first vein again. Get a little bit smaller. So just when I have the arrows on it, just shrink it in to make it smaller. And then duplicate it again. Still using the shortcuts. Now I can hear my neighbor's music. I think it's my upstairs neighbor. I don't know if any of this is, if you can hear it, let me know. I guess it's Friday. It's the beginning of the weekend, so people are getting ready to party. All right, so get those, double click to get those rotation arrows again and move that into place just to rotate it a little bit. All right, so now we've got the middle vein plus the 6 shorter ones on the sides of that. Let me zoom out of here a little bit. That's going to be our first leaf. So to make the second leaf, since you know your girl loves a shortcut, we are just going to select everything on that first leaf and duplicate it. To make these things easier, I'm gonna group them all together, because sometimes if I don't, what can happen is like I think I've selected everything, but then like there's like one little segment hanging out somewhere that wasn't selected, and it doesn't get duplicated. I mean, it's not like a huge deal. I can just just hit Control Z and undo it, but yeah, it just helps if I group them together. So if you group them together before you duplicate it. So they are grouped. They have been put onto the top of the apple, and I've just lowered it down behind the apple. So you can lower it using the shortcut, or you can use the top menu item. So when you have the item selected, you'll see like the little stair level menu tools come up. So if you are interested in the shortcuts in Inkscape, I do have a shortcuts ebook, which is Inkscape Ready Set Go. In there, I've got all the shortcuts to use Inkscape on a Mac, on a PC. And most of these, I mean, I've memorized because I've been using it over the years, but it's good to have it handy, especially if you're a beginner and you want to save yourself some time on like looking for the menu items, especially looking for the shortcuts. All right, so here we just duplicated that second leaf, and I think I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, because rarely do you find in nature two exact same leaf sizes on one apple. It's going to be a little bit different. And even though this isn't like a realistic looking apple, because this is an SVG, I still want to have like some of those same kind of properties. All right, so I can shrink it. That's looking a little small, maybe. Let's see if I move this one. All right. Make that other one a little bit smaller, and then move this one behind or back in front. And that is our apple. So for part one in here, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Get back off there. Now you can actually see what I'm talking about. All right, so that's the apple, but we're not quite done. We're still going to add that little like shine on the apple. Still using the basic shapes. So I'm using a circle. And I'm going to double click to get the nodes. Don't worry, it's not going to stay green. It's only green because that's the glass color that we use to make the veins on the leaf. So I've double clicked to get the nodes, pulled out the sides, just like we did for the stem. I'm going to change the color to like not quite white, but like a really, really light pink. Just so it doesn't like completely stand off from the apple. I'll double click to get the nodes and move that into position. And that is our apple. So this is, I'd still say about a beginner kind of, yeah. I still want to say it's a beginner-ish, maybe beginner to medium scale level design that you can do in Inkscape. You can take this and print it out in Cricut, use them to make a sticker sheet for teachers, which I think would be something useful because I always like to get useful gifts. Sticker sheets, or put it on as a thank you tag on the gift that you're already giving. Like, let's say you're going to give her a candle, like a really nice, pretty smelling candle. Put, print this out maybe like on cardstock paper and, handwrite a little note on there. I think that would be really cute as a gift. So that is an idea of a teacher gift that you could give. If you have any others, feel free to jot them down. I am open to suggestions. Next week, you are going to see this again. I'm going to show you a different way that you can use this apple for a different kind of gift. Right? So I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like it. Please share it with someone else who is looking for ideas of gifts that they can give to people in their lives that, help them out. Be it the delivery guy, be it a teacher, be it a babysitter, be it your neighbor. Why not? I will see you again next week, Friday, same time at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And make sure that you are on my VIP list. If you're not, you can go over to paperflowdesigns.com. That's PAPERFLO designs with an S on the end.com and sign up there. It's free to join, and you will be the first to know when I'm going on live and what we're going to be drawing. All right. See you then. Bye.